Huh, don't you dare get close to her. You, from some piddly little company? We're the elite from the top company. Know your place.
I'm Konomi Jinbo from Erito Publishing. It's a pleasure to work with you all.
Konomi? What are you doing at our company? If you turn your favorite hobby into a job, you'll end up hating what you used to love. That's why you should purposefully choose a job you dislike and just endure it for 8 hours. You'll be happier if you spend plenty of time on your favorite hobby after that. Some streamer who's good at winning arguments was passionately saying that. But I couldn't help but think he was wrong.
Hey, Tatsuru, working overtime this late again?
Huh? President Ogawa? Whoa, I didn't realize it was so late.
I appreciate your dedication, but your health comes first. Go home now.
I'm Tatsuru Kanda. I'm 28 and work at Love Koi Publishing, a small company with less than 10 employees, including the president. You're one to talk, President Ogawa. You're working late too.
It's fine for me. I started this company to do what I love.
I love this job too. It was my dream to be involved with books, so I don't mind the overtime at all.
Thank you. I'm counting on you. But even if you don't mind, as your employer, I have a responsibility.
Right, I understand. Well, I'll be heading home for today. See you tomorrow. I've loved books since I was a kid and always wanted to work for a publisher, but the publishing world is a tough one to get into. Even the major companies only hire about 20 new graduates, and they're still all about prestigious universities, filled with grads from T University and K University. With my university degree, getting into a major publisher was completely out of the question, Master.
That was common in my day, but it's surprising some companies are still so focused on university prestige. But because of that, you're fulfilled now, right?
Exactly. We don't have enough people to divide the labor, so I get to do everything from start to finish. It's the best. I have a bar I often stop by after work, and on this day, I was making small talk with the master as usual.
Welcome.
Good evening. Oh, Tatsuru, you're here too?
The person who walked in was Konomi Jinbo. I don't know where she works or much about her personal life, but she's a regular I talk to whenever we meet at the bar. Good evening, Konomi. You're quite late today.
I know. You won't believe it. Oh, but first, Master, I'll have my usual dry gin.
From what I heard, Konomi's company seems to be very old-fashioned, with outdated customs still rampant. That sounds tough. So, what about overtime?
Everyone clocks out and then keeps working. It's become an unspoken rule, which is kind of scary. Oh, I'm so jealous of you, Tatsuru. You always look so happy when you talk about your work.
Sometime after that, one night, while I was drinking at the usual bar, a new customer came in.
Welcome.
Just one, is that okay? Konomi Jinbo recommended this place to me.
I see. Thank you for coming. Please, have a seat right here.
A friend of Konomi's? The master showed him to his seat, took his order, and served the man a highball. But maybe it was just my imagination. The master seemed a bit sluggish. He also looked like he was struggling to make conversation. Maybe it's because it's usually just regulars and new customers are rare. Thinking I'd help out, I decided to wait for the right moment and strike up a conversation with him. Nice to meet you. You know Konomi, right? I'm a friend of hers from this bar. Huh, Konomi is my junior at work. You've heard of Erito Publishing, of course. He quickly handed me his business card. Erito Publishing is the biggest in the industry. His name, full of confidence, was Kojo Shoshi. Konomi works for a major publisher? I know it well. It was my first choice when I was job hunting as a student. but I was rejected right after the first round of interviews. I see you have quite a past. Are you in the same industry by chance, Tatsuru? Yes, I work at Lovekoi Publishing. Huh? Never heard of a publisher like that. I guess not. We only have 10 employees and haven't published any famous books yet. When I said that, Kojo Shoshi scoffed at me as if to mock me. Huh, don't you dare get close to her. You, from some piddly little company? We're the elite from the top company. Know your place. We only talk when we happen to meet at this bar. After that, Kojo Shoshi's bragging about his top-tier company went on and on. If he were drunk, it would be one thing, but if he's always like this, he must have problems with people. I hate to say it, but his behavior gave me a glimpse of the old-fashioned corporate culture and customs that Konomi was worried about. The master had a skeptical look on his face the whole time and didn't join the conversation much. Master, do you think Konomi hates me now? That day, I found myself whining to the master. It had been over 2 months since I last saw Konomi.
Could you not sigh so heavily? You're bringing my mood down too.
But I haven't seen her at all since the day she told me about her problems at work. Even though we're just regulars who know each other from the bar, I can't help but worry when I don't see her for this long. Maybe, did Kojo Shoshi tell Konomi about me at work? Why didn't I get her contact information beforehand? I never expected this to happen.
Gah! A man who can't think ahead will never be popular with the ladies, no matter the era.
Ugh. By the way, has that obnoxious guy, Konomi Sr., been here since?
That was the last I saw of him. I doubt he'll come back, but even if you run into him, you'd better not count on him for anything.
Of course not. It would just add fuel to the fire, and as a man, I don't want to do that. The next time I see her, I'll talk more in depth about work. Just as I was thinking that, the unbelievable happened.
Everyone, there's someone I'd like you to meet. She's our new colleague, a newcomer from a major competitor.
A few days later, seeing the woman who had just changed jobs, my eyes went wide.
I'm Konomi Jimbo from Erito Publishing. It's a pleasure to work with you all.
Konomi? What are you doing at our company?
It's been a while. You always looked so happy when you talked about your job, Tatsuru, so I've been interested for a long time.
Well, even so, coming from Erito Publishing to our company is... I mean, no offense to you, President Ogawa.
I know. I was surprised at first too, but when I heard during the interview that you knew Tatsuru, I was immediately relieved. The name recognition and stability of a major company must be hard to give up, but it showed me you're someone who values fulfillment more. You basically recruited her to her company without even realizing it, Tatsuru. So now you have a big responsibility. Naturally, I'll need you to be her mentor.
Of course. Thank you, President Ogawa. Let's do our best, Konomi.
Yes, let's. I'm looking forward to it.
And just like that, a miracle occurred. The relationship that was just two regulars at a bar a few months ago turned into us being colleagues. In any case, I was relieved to see that Konomi was as cheerful and energetic as ever. Seeing her like this, I guess she didn't hate me after all. Thank goodness. Ironically, during the 2 months I couldn't see her at the bar, I realized keenly that I had special feelings for Konomi. I don't remember telling Konomi where I worked, so she must have heard it from Kojo Shoshi. That said, Konomi wasn't the type of person to look down on me like Kojo Shoshi did.
Tatsuru, I've come up with a few book proposals. Could you take a look?
On her very first day, Konomi brought in already well-developed proposals. Wow, these are all likely to be big hits. Do you have any authors in mind?
Yes. Using my connections from college and my time at Erito Publishing, I can select the perfect author for each proposal from a wide range of candidates.
This proposal skill and your extensive network? You're amazing, Konomi. What about the format?
The format? What's a format?
Her question made my jaw drop, but I quickly added an explanation. The book format, like A5, Shinsho, Bunko, it means the size of the book.
Oh, a different department always figured out the best solution for that. So I don't really know much about it.
Huh? Oh, right. Major companies have a clear division of labor, so what about selecting the paper for the book?
Sorry, I've never done that. Everything related to cost calculation was handled by another department.
What about page design or proofreading? Or maybe visiting bookstores and holding publication events?
Yes, of course. That was a different department or outsourced.
So what exactly can you do besides planning, Konomi?
Checking! I can perfectly check everything that comes in from other departments or contractors. I've also already created a checklist to assess your suitability as my mentor, which I'll be submitting to the president later.
Ugh, please, go easy on me. So, Konomi was a specialist as an editor, and her proposals kept getting approved one after another. This brings our concurrent projects this month to 5. Are you okay with that?
This is nothing. In fact, I'm enjoying the challenge.
Because she came from a major company with a division of labor, there were many things she couldn't do, but it didn't take her long to learn the ropes. And so, Konomi quickly became a key employee at Lovekoi Publishing.
Welcome.
Master, it's been a while. I brought a special guest today. The night Konomi's first book was published, I invited her to our usual bar.
Long time no see.
She'd only been away for a little while, but for some reason, Konomi seemed unusually awkward.
It's been a while. Glad to see you're doing well.
Actually, Konomi transferred to my company. Today, we're celebrating the release of her first book, so I suggested we come to the bar where we first met. We all toasted with Konomi's favorite gin, including the master. As we drank, Konomi seemed to relax and started talking about the differences between her old job and her new one.
Erito Publishing has a long history, so everyone's very rigid. They never approve any new proposals. They'd get angry and tell me that all I needed to do was follow the successful publications of the past, and that a rookie shouldn't do anything unnecessary.
I had a feeling, but it really is that kind of corporate culture, isn't it?
I mentioned before how we'd clocked out during overtime, but compliance is just for show. There's a harassment counseling office, but no one uses it because of a rumor that going there will affect your performance review. It was during that time that I kept seeing you, Tatsuru, looking so happy, and it made me want to change jobs.
So she had decided to change jobs and was too busy with the handover process to come to the bar. Didn't you have anyone at the company you could talk to, like Kojo Shoshi, the one who supposedly recommended this place? I just happened to run into him here, but you must have been on good enough terms for him to recommend his favorite bar, right?
Huh? How do you know about him?
What? I met him here the other day. Did he not tell you about me at work? For just a moment, I thought I saw a shadow pass over Konomi's cheerful face. I got off work on time. Maybe I'll grab a bite to eat somewhere before heading home. As I was thinking that and leaving the building, a man who seemed to be waiting for me suddenly spoke. Yo, remember me? The one picking a fight was Kojo Shoshi from Erito Publishing. I hadn't seen him since that day at the bar, but after being ridiculed so much on our first meeting, there's no way I could forget him. You're Kojo Shoshi, the guy I met at the bar a few months ago, right? What's up? So even someone from a third-rate publisher can remember a face, but it's no use if you've forgotten the most important thing. The most important thing? What's that? I told you back then not to make a move on Konomi, didn't I? And yet, she ended up transferring to a piddly little publisher like this. You must have tricked her and pulled some strings behind the scenes, didn't you? Of course I didn't do that. I didn't even know her contact information until she transferred. What? If you didn't trick her, there's no way someone would move from the biggest company to a place like this. Konomi's words, seeing how happy Tatsuro always was, made me want to change jobs. That feeling, that reason for changing jobs, I'm sure it wasn't a lie. It might be third rate in terms of size, but there are a lot of things you can only experience at a small company. What's wrong with someone wanting to find fulfillment and transferring to a company like that? Someone who failed our company's entrance exam has no right to talk so big. Say what you want about me, but our company is definitely going to grow from here on out. And I won't let you insult her for taking action with such great determination and courage. I retorted strongly, thinking I might have dampened Kojo Shoshi's spirit, but he quickly recovered. Konomi! In the direction he was looking was Konomi, who had just left work. Noticing us, she came over.
Why are you here, Ko?
You came at the right time. This guy is full of lies. I can't even talk to him. Konomi, you're being deceived. Anyone can see a transfer like this is crazy. Snap out of it. Konomi let out a small sigh and glared at him sharply.
Give me a break. You're the last person I want to hear anything from about my job change. Part of the reason I left Erito Publishing was to get away from the restrictive environment bound by old customs, but a major reason was also the stress and annoyance of you constantly hitting on me, Ko.
Huh?
You went to the bar that Tatsuru and I go to, lying that I recommended it, didn't you? I never told you about that place. What's going on?
Well, that's,
Weren't you secretly stalking me and looking into what I was doing after I left the company?
No way. I wouldn't. Kojo Shoshi became flustered. Seeing his obvious reaction, probably hit the mark.
You peeked into the bar and saw me talking happily with Tatsuru, and you flew into a jealous rage. You were so desperate to feel superior to Tatsuru that you pretended I had recommended the place and went in another day. Am I wrong?
Kojo Shoshi stayed silent, frantically shaking his head, but neither Konomi nor I were convinced by that.
I'm now working happily in the best possible environment at Love Koi Publishing. Not everyone in the world chooses a job based solely on public recognition or good benefits. Someone as vain as you, Ko, you'll probably never understand. That company harassment counseling office doesn't even work properly, and I knew that no matter who I complained to, I'd just be ignored. That's why I didn't report it to the company. But if you're going to show up here too, I'll have to consider going to the police.
Breaking out in a cold sweat and turning pale, Kojo Shoshi seemed to have lost all will to argue back.
My, what's all this commotion?
Just then, President Ogawa came out of the office. In front of the company, Konomi was tearfully pleading with a strange man. It was only natural for her to be suspicious.
President Ogawa, good evening. I'm sorry for causing a scene.
Konomi, could this man be the one?
Yes, he is.
You knew about this, President Ogawa?
When she was hired, Konomi told me just in case something like this happened. She said there was a senior colleague who was stalking her and might show up here out of spite. I never thought he'd actually come.
I see. Perhaps he didn't like the contemptuous look I gave him, as he once again spat out aggressive words. Damn it, a bunch of nobodies from a piddly publisher. ganging up on me from Erito Publishing? Hearing Kojo Shoshi's outburst, President Ogawa's expression turned cold as she calmly retorted,
You really have a foul mouth. I'll have to lodge a formal complaint with the upper management at Erito Publishing.
Huh? A complaint from a nobody like Lovekoi Publishing will never reach our top brass. This is why people who don't know their place are such a pain. At this comment from Kojo Shoshi, both Konomi and I could only hang our heads in disbelief, because...
I see. Well, the president of your company is my younger brother, but you're saying it still won't reach his ears? If you want, I can call my brother right now and have him come over.
Gah! I hear that her brother has always been afraid of his older sister and can't stand up to her, so you'd better be prepared. No way! Is that even possible? Kojo Shoshi hurriedly bowed his head, but President Ogawa ignored him and reported everything over the phone. Shortly after, Kojo Shoshi was summoned by the company's upper management. As for your power harassment incidents within the company, we could overlook them as an internal matter. However, stalking a former female employee is unacceptable. Do you understand? What? So the treatment changes depending on whether the person is an insider or an outsider? Trying to save face on only the outside is a sloppy response typical of old companies. In the end, Kojo Shoshi was ordered to be transferred to the book storage in the basement, commonly known as the ouster room. Konomi's long-standing problem was finally resolved, but there was one thing that still bothered me. How did Konomi find out where I worked? I never once told Konomi my place of employment. I thought maybe Kojo Shoshi had told her, but Konomi didn't even know that he and I had met. And yet, Konomi had transferred to my company. If my hypothesis was correct, then that person must be... Welcome! Master, you really had me fooled, but I figured out your true identity. Now, what are you talking about? The fact that Konomi knew where I worked, and the fact that you stopped coming here completely after Kojo Shoshi showed up. The way you acted strangely when Kojo Shoshi was here. From all that, you are... Konomi's father, aren't you? Gah! Ha ha! So you figured it out. Hey, Konomi, it's no use hiding. Konomi came out from behind the counter.
See? I told you he'd figure it out because you're so sharp, Tatsuru. I'm sorry for not telling you until now. I figured if I was going to drink anyway, I might as well support my dad's bar, and then I just lost the timing to tell you.
Thank goodness. Even the master told me that a man who can't think ahead isn't attractive. But you must have been surprised when Kojo Shoshi suddenly showed up here, right?
Konomi had told me about her senior colleague stalking her, but I never imagined he'd show up himself, lying about being recommended. Back then, they were still at the same company, so I couldn't do anything too drastic. You joining the conversation really helped.
I knew it. You were acting a little strange, Master.
The other day, he staggered in here with a vacant look in his eyes, so this time I yelled, "Don't you ever come near my daughter again," and kicked him out.
Konomi gets angry at her boisterously laughing father, telling him not to be so reckless. Seeing the two of them like this, I knew I wouldn't get another chance. Master, may I have your permission to date... No, to date Konomi?
What? Hey, Tatsuru, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Gah, ha, ha. So, a man who can think ahead tries to win me over first, eh? I like your style. You have my approval. Besides, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't have recommended you transfer to his company in the first place.
Hey, don't leave me out of this.
In every industry, there are big corporations, small and medium-sized businesses, and tiny companies, and all of them are respectable jobs. There's no such thing as a superior or inferior job. Everyone has different values they look for in their work, and it's perfectly fine to turn what you love into a job. Konomi, I look forward to our future together.
Yes, me too.
What's wrong with making a living out of what you love? Thanks to that, I was able to meet my irreplaceable partner. I want to prove it with my own life, so that one day I can even challenge that famous debate king.
Hello, Brittany here. Thank you, as always, for watching our episodes. Make sure to like and subscribe, my lovelies, and I'll see you next time. Bye!